Talking about this album right here. 1994 soundtrack, Murder Was the Case. A lot of times people think it is and be like, how was this a soundtrack? Was this a movie? It actually was. But a lot of us didn't see this movie till years later. I don't know about the production. I didn't see the movie till about 96, 97. Now, the first video that comes from this is Snoop Dogg, Murder Was the Case, the song, the remix, where he had the video for. Now, this came out, I think, right before Snoop was not guilty on that case, that he had, that M case, hence the title. But this is one of those 1994 classics, classic albums, classic soundtracks. When I think of other classic soundtracks, I would say Above the Rim is definitely another one of those soundtracks. But when Murder Was the Case, it just put us on to a lot of new artists. I'm a little bit younger, so I was like 12 when this album came out. I actually heard this before I heard the whole Chronic album. And depending on, how old you are, where you were at the time, it's what music you heard first. But this album really has some genuine classics on here. Dollars and Cents with DJ Quick. It's a part of hip-hop history what happened from this project. But it introduced us to a lot of artists. I never heard Big Trey D till I heard this album, till I heard this song. 21 Jump Street was the first time I heard Big Trey D. It introduced us to other artists from the Dog Pound, such as Big C Style. I don't even see him on here. Slip Capone, CPO Boss Hogg, which was also on this Death Row project Above the Rim. These two albums brought us to an understanding of all the artists of Death Row Records and what Suge Knight, what Dr. Dre, what Snoop Dogg, what Daz Dillinger, that nigga Daz, what DJ Quick was putting together Battle Cat artistry wise. They were artist development, building a lot of artists at this time. And it brought us a lot of great work. Harvest for the World, the R&B track off Murder Was the Case, definitely one of those ones that I would say is something that you just gotta listen to. It's really soulful, this album. One More Day with Nate Dogg, probably one of the best songs of all time. This album was a banger, definitely a classic banger. One of those ones that you gotta have in your collection if you don't have West Coast classic, hip hop classic. You go anywhere, people will know about this album. This is before Snoop Dogg. Yeah, this is before this is before Tupac became part of the label. The Dog Pound was about to drop their solo work, their first album, but this is before that. But they were really building the soundtracks up, the Dog Pound. They were on Poetic Justice, they were on Murder Was the Case, Above the Rim, with songs like Big Pimpin', Dog Pound for Life. It was just a lot of work that they were doing at the time. And reflective. For one, it's a summer banger, something that sounds great in any car, you know what I mean? And it's just one of those ones. Before I knew about South Central Cartel, before I knew about, um, before I listened to a lot of Tupac, I listened to this. Then it was the show soundtrack, and then I started going back to the Chronic album, um, South Central Cartel's first and second albums. Um, but then, not to mention, this comes out, the G-Funk era. And this is just one of those 1995 summer, 95, I take that back, 1994 summer classics. Death Row was dropping like No Limit records at the time, before No Limit came out. You know how No Limit was. They was dropping albums damn near very often, every week. Now, I'm not saying Death Row was doing that, but they had a lot of collaborations at the time. And it was a classic. It's one of Snoop Dogg's best projects. It's not talked about enough, really, when you think of classic albums. But they had a couple videos to this album. Dollars and Cents wasn't one of them, but Dollars and Cents was a song that was performed at the Source Awards, the 1995 Source Awards, and that was the infamous one where Suge Knight addressed Puffy and Bad Boy, and it was a big clash. This was like right before all that beef started. It was brewing though, because people wasn't biting music at the time, but it was a lot of jealousy and envy going on. But One More Day was a video that was dropped. What Would You Do? The Dog Pound. That's when Daz and Krupp had the Dallas Cowboys jerseys on, the Emmitt Smith and Deion jerseys on, and they was running around. I'm sure that built a lot of Cowboys fans. I mean, Cowboys fans was at an all-time high because they were winning the Super Bowls and things like that. They were winning the NFC championships and things like that at the time. This was like right before they went to their low point. But yeah, man, Murder Was the Case, classic album. You Better Recognize brought out Sam Snead, the Pittsburgh producer, you know. Danny Boy, Come When I Call. That was one of those, man, if you ain't had no motion with this album right here, I don't know what to tell you, because this is one of those ones, you know. Wash your car, get fresh, get outside with, you know what I mean, ride with the homies, you know what I mean, whatever. This is going to work. This is just one of those classics. Tell me what y'all think in the comments. Do you think this is one of Death Row's greatest projects for the 90s? Do you think this is one of the best soundtracks that came out? How would you